Tampa, no light, Lampa. Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche Pregame Show live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. We've got Bailey and Rudo coming to you as the Avs are taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning, staying in Florida for their third game of the road trip. Both these teams now sitting with some injuries. The Avs a little bit more recent. Landy and Taves still out for tonight's game. Obviously, Landy, we're expecting it to be weeks at most. I don't know. Should we just do? Let's just go with the common spirit injury report right off the bat. Why beat around the bush? Look at the whole thing. No specifics about Taves and Landy just yet. They're in the will miss some time frame.
Classic Bednar verbiage.
We do have like other angles on this. Team Sweden is not adding anyone to their roster, so take that for whatever you will. It sounds like Taves is less serious than Landy, at least. Cool.
It makes you think, too, if Team Sweden's not making any immediate moves, that saying that Landy is worse off than Taves still means that there's some, light at the end of the tunnel type situation, which makes me feel better.
It does.
But it sucks.
We're not expecting them back anytime soon. We'll put it that way.
Nope.
And then Kiviranta and Blackwood still not on the trip, though it does seem like they may be good to go when the Avs get back home. Or
at least Blackwood.
Yeah, so we'll see exactly, and then LOC still remains. Who knows? But
clear as mud.
The longest the injury report has been for the Avs this year. They've had a couple of other spots and stuff like that, but it's piled up there. On Tampa's side, their defense is the one that's really been hit. Hedman has been in and out of the lineup. McDonough has been in and out of the lineup this year. It's part of hockey. At this point, you got to take your knocks and push forward. How well do you think the Avs can absorb these injuries, Bailey?
I hope well enough, but honestly, looking ahead at this game, I'm kind of the mindset of I don't care what the outcome is as long as you're not losing anybody else on this road trip. Just get home healthy. On the flip side of it, though, looking at, two sides of the same coin, there's some guys who played very uncharacteristic minutes.
Yeah.
Especially in the last game against Florida. I'm looking at a Kale McCarr. I'm looking at a Sam Malinsky, who, if you're looking for any of those guys to step up and at least try to turn some of this adversity into more of a positive, you're looking to have a better night out of them tonight.
You kind of need one if you're serious about winning this game. Whatever you're dealing with when it comes to injuries, hopefully none, but you can experience the difference compassion makes. Find a Common Spirit location near you and discover a new standard of health and healing by visiting mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. All right. While I'm not concerned too much with the result, I think I agree with you on that point. I think what you're getting into there, particularly Sam Malinsky, brutal the other day, but the decor as a whole. Mm-hmm. You want to see the Avs find a solution that they can run without Devon Taves in the lineup, right? At very least in the top four, who's a guy that you feel comfortable with placing next to McCarr? Who fits on a second pairing? And, unfortunately, whoever ends up on the third pairing might just get the short end of the stick there. But is there something you would like to see the Avs go with on those D pairs?
Honestly, no.
Okay.
I don't know as though I have one set pairing in mind. And if I'm being completely honest, I think that's kind of a moot point anyway, because we've seen a lot of these games that get shuffled around. a little bit. So
not quite as much as we saw, but the Avs have always moved their guys around.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's a situation where tonight's a situation where they try a couple different things around. Maybe pushing a Manson up, maybe giving Girard a couple more minutes because he had a couple good minutes against Florida that I really liked. So maybe testing some of that out, but honestly, I don't expect to see one solid pairing for the team here tonight.
Would you consider this the first real test? Because, yes, I know Taves didn't play the other night, but it's a back-to-back. The Avs were clearly exhausted. Mm-hmm. It's hard to take a ton out of that game, right?
I think so. There's also something to be said about this being their third game in 4 days, too. So you still maybe have a little bit of that tiredness, recuperation that hasn't quite been able to happen yet. But there is something to be said about having an off day, having a day of rest, where talked about it during postgame last time. It's we've been looking for that little piece of adversity past the power play. And this is going to be, as you mentioned, this feels like a game where it kind of needs to be. This is the first kind of I'm kind of treating this game like the first 10 games of the beginning of the season, right? Where you don't exactly know it, you're just kind of feeling things out. You're just kind of rolling with the punches, and then you take note, okay, what needs to change, what needs to work. This is where you start to figure that out and say, okay, you're missing one of your best defensive guys. You're missing a core part of your forward core. And what can you do with that? This is the game where you gauge that. And then you've got 7 games at home to figure out, okay, what does this new identity of the team look like with these guys out for a long period of time?
So you left the defensive side open. Do you have more conviction about moving someone into the top 6 on the forward side? This is something the Avs have gone through before this season when Nuke missed some time. We saw both Brindley and Colton get shots up there. Stick with what you know or keep experimenting?
I honestly really liked Brindley up there. That's probably my first shot. And Bednar has more than shown that the trust has been earned from a guy like Brindley. Yeah. The multiple compliments that he's given him over the first half of the season shows that he's proven that he's got the juice to play in a top 6 anywhere else, and he's been given multiple shots like that here with the Avs. So if anybody is going to get that nod, it seems like a no-brainer for me anyway, to give a guy who is known to be a spark plug, who is known to add a bit of juice anywhere he is in the lineup. Move him up there.
I think it's just an interesting conversation right now because Brindley's production hasn't been super great as of late as actual points.
No, fair.
And neither is Colton's. Mm-hmm. He has a couple of assists in the last few games, but I don't think he scored a goal in 11 or 12 or something like that. So you do wonder if you're looking for offensive production and trying to put someone up there. Frankly, I don't think the Avs have a great choice. It's not like Olofsson has been producing great either. Mm-mm. You're not putting Jack Drury or someone like that in your top 6. So this might be while I don't think it's a major concern, while I think it's a spot that the Avs can sustain themselves even without Landy in the lineup, at least as far as the on-ice product is concerned, I do wonder if someone can take advantage of that spot.
No, and that again is what this gauging period I think can be used for. Yep. You have an opportunity where Blendnar comes out to play, and if there's any game to experiment with that it's a game like this where really again the only thing on the line is making sure you get home with the rest of your guys healthy. So if you're gonna move things around and test things around and gauge kind of where gauge this feeling out period, this is the game for me to do that.
Yeah, and there's no doubt that this is a real quality opponent, as we can bring up the stat cards here, where we're far enough into the season that one game isn't going to have a major effect on these statistics, like we saw the Avs not play anywhere near their best the other night, and their sheet still shows they're pretty much number 1 in everything but the power play, which is inching back closer to 32. So that's fine. On Tampa's side of things, though, this is arguably the second time inside of a week that you're playing the best team from the East. Mm-hmm. Maybe you think it's Carolina. I don't think it's Florida, but some people could make an argument for that. And then Tampa, certainly at the top of their division, a very well-rounded, very quality hockey team. The only real weakness they have as far as like underlyings is maybe Vasilevsky hasn't been the guy who he's been in the past. He's a pretty mid-range goalie this year, but I would not be surprised to see this be a difficult game for Colorado.
Yeah, which, given where they're at, like it's unfortunate that this is where this falls in the last game of
this trip, the 3 and 4.
Yeah, like it's about as unfortunate as it could get.
Yep.
But it's a quality opponent that if the Avs can come out of this one alive, not just injury-wise, but on getting back into the win column. Like, this is a quality opponent. This is, I mean, their power play is maybe not the best, as you mentioned, goaltending as well. But if you fix the things that you know how to fix, you know you're a good team without Devon Toews. You know, I hate to say it, but you know you can produce without a Gabe Landeskog. You've done it for the last 3 years.
Nothing new there.
So it shouldn't be anything you're super, super unfamiliar with. But at the same time, you have to figure that part of yourself out. And so if you can use that first period to kind of feel out a little bit and then become the dominant third period team that they are too, come out of this one alive, that's a nice little stamp on the road trip to go home and sit at home for a little bit and recuperate and take some of those breaks that they may need after a grueling road trip like this one.
If we live in a world where the Avs can win this game, do you think they have enough left in the tank to get together a third period? They just looked so exhausted in that first Florida game. Now, they did have a day off. It wasn't crazy, Trav. It's literally just up the road to Tampa.
Yeah.
Still, are we expecting some tiredness, the 3 and 4?
I think a little bit, but there's less of an excuse, I think, for it now with that day off. You have time to just sit and get back to your routines. There were a few guys on this road trip, especially with, the return to Carolina and then the back-to-back, whose routines were a little jostled with. But you get the opportunity. It's your first morning skate of the road trip.
True.
Which is
ridiculous.
A crazy thing to think about. But you can kind of get back into that step and routine. And that does a lot more for a player's psyche than I think people realize. So that can play a lot, I think, into some of that quote unquote rest that they're getting versus, just like getting back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
So that's
a little bit of consistency.
Right. So falling back into that pattern, there is less of an excuse for it. You get a chance to touch the puck before the games, and that should give you enough of a psyche boost, I think, to sit there and say you can put up a good third period. You have that first 20 minutes, again, to feel things out, to figure out what your team looks like, where your holes are defensively versus offensively. And that's 40 minutes to figure that out before you say, like, okay, this is the final push. And we saw that a little bit in Florida, too, or in Sunrise, where you see the final 5 minutes, guys like McKinnon start to step things up a little bit. Drury's putting on good opportunities. And that's kind of a similar aspect that I expect to see out of this one, I think.
Well, and let's be honest about it. The weight of adversity falls squarely on your superstar shoulders, right? If Cale Makar goes out and has a 3-point night, that gives you a ton of breathing room for whoever's paired with him and whatever the rest of your defense looks like. If you get a superstar game out of a guy like that, if Nathan McKinnon pops off, you're not too worried about one of your top 6 wingers being a question mark.
But that's the expectation, though, right? Is those guys need to be able to step that up. And I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know as though I have a whole lot of faith in a Cale Makar who's been a little silent.
I mean, maybe that's more reason, more motivation.
Yeah, no, you've got an opportunity to break a pretty decent streak here for the Lightning in the last couple,
which they did last time they played. But
so if that's something you can come out of this with and use that as motivation to get your top guys going, all the better for it. But they've won 7 in a row at this point. You need your top guys to step up against a team like this.
Pretty much, even if they were healthy, you'd be looking at them to step up on a night like tonight. But now even more so.
Especially, too, when you're looking at situations like Jack Drury has his first goal in a while. Ross Colton, he's putting up
points
assists, but you're looking for him to get on the board. So as much as, yes, you are looking for your top guys to step up too, in a game like this where some of those holes might become a little more exposed than normal, you need a guy like a Parker Kelly to maybe step up and utilize his minutes offensively. You need a Ross Colton to find that finishing edge. A guy like Victor Olofsson, again, in the last few, I think we can both agree, has been a little disappointing.
Yes.
Maybe a lot of disappointing, but you're looking for guys like that to step up offensively.
Let me ask you about those guys specifically, because I think the Florida game was a great example. Florida, another team that's been dealing with injuries all season, and they've kind of understood how they need to play. Get into a grindy game, beat a team 2-1, don't give up a whole lot of free stuff offensively. Do we need to see the Avs target a little bit of that with some key guys out, or do you think just play your game and don't worry about it?
I think there's something to be said about teams like that being able to get into other teams' heads a little bit. And the Avs become a definitively worse team when they start to stray from what they know how to do.
Sure.
You see that in a game like Florida. It's maybe not your highest scoring game, and you see them kind of fall prey to a little bit of that physical edge. You're seeing them getting bullied off the puck a little bit, and it messes with their heads a little bit. Florida starts living rent-free, and that's not great. For a team like the Avalanche who plays fast, who plays like they're really good with their entries, not a super physical team. So if they can stay away from that a little bit and play with a lot of that chemistry that they've grown with over the last half of the season, that's going to be their key, I think, to win tonight. Is don't let yourself stray too far from the game, but also read the ice, read the room, and understanding, like, don't fall prey, but be proactive in what Tampa is capable of.
Also 3 and 4 for Scott Wedgwood, which, yeah, that's everyone on the team. But with Blackwood out for the road trip, they don't have that tandem stuff to work with. Wedgwood has not been the Avs' problem by any stretch on this road trip. He only gave up 2 goals in the loss. Do the Avs need to protect him tonight, or does he need to pick up the Avs tonight?
Unfortunately, with some of the holes the Avs are dealing with, I'm expecting a big game out of a Scott Wedgwood. Okay. Losing a guy who plays a lot of minutes in Devon Taves, who is known to protect that middle of the ice, to protect whoever is in net for him. You're expecting Wedgwood to play a clean game, to play a very square, I think, game. Yeah. He's going to be tested a lot tonight. And he needs to be solid, but that also means that a guy like Sam Malinsky, like a Cale Makar, you can't be messy in the neutral zone. You've got to be sound with your battles, your 50-50s, and don't make it too easy for the other team. Like there's a difference between, your goaltender needing to pull you out of games a little bit and just hanging him out to dry. And that latter part is really the hole that the Avs need to not get caught in. Yep.
And the top end of Tampa's lineup is extremely good. Nikita Kucherov, obviously an amazing offensive talent. Jake Gensel continues to be great for them. Brandon Hagel is playing the best hockey of his life in Tampa Bay. Same thing can be said on the back end for Darren Radish. Braden Point, Anthony Cirelli, they've got that good center depth. It does fall off a little bit on the backside for Tampa, though.
Yep.
So maybe that's where those thoughts of an Olofsson, a Colton, some of those depth guys might have some of that opportunity against a lineup like Tampa's.
No, absolutely. And that's where I'm saying, like, I love what McKinnon's been able to do recently and kind of picking up his game, and especially in those final minutes, proving that Mad Kinnon can make a difference.
Can.
But really, the Avs have kind of built an identity over the last couple of years of being a very top-heavy team with a lot of that talent that they carry. This year, I think, has been somewhat characteristically different when you're looking at some of the depth that they have, not only offensively, but defensively as well. But in order to win games, you need to score goals. It's what you bring in a guy like Olofsson to do. It's what you expect, even though you're getting some of that gritty play from a guy like Ross Colton, you're expecting his finishing to be better. Yep. You need some of that depth in order to win games. It's something that Jared Bednar put a lot of pride in, especially earlier this season. And the fact that that's fallen off as much as they have might be a little bit of a concern if they can't produce in a game like tonight.
You got to find a way. Given the guys who you've lost, right? Devon Taves, Gabe Landeskog. Regardless of, sure, there's some things you've wanted better out of Taves. He is your best defensive defenseman. Gabe Landeskog, arguably your best defensive forward. It could be Brock Nelson this year. I don't need to get into details.
Yeah.
Certainly a quality defensive forward. We talked about the Wedgwood might need a big game. Is the other option the Avs just outscore that problem?
I'd love that to be the case. If you can limit as much of that traffic in front of Scott Wedgwood as possible, like I come out of this game thrilled.
Yeah, same.
But I think for me, that's a pipe dream at this point.
I would probably agree with you, but I had to throw it out there.
No, that's fair. Like, as much as I want to, like in a dream-like scenario, like they're putting up a 7-1 game because I'm realistic. Yeah. But I'd love for them to blow Tampa out especially with some of their depth. Like I'd love to see great games out of that bottom six, but this is the first time, again, the Avs are dealing with real adversity. So I don't know as though I'm expecting a whole lot out of a game where that aspect is concerned.
All right. Let's have the conversation we have to have by law in every show we've ever done. Is the solution to adversity fixing the power play?
Absolutely. 100%. No, I don't know how that's not your first... when you've got the blinders on, you're looking forward. I don't know how that's not the first thing on your mind.
Yep.
And you saw it come to life in Carolina.
It was good. Supposedly at morning skate, McKinnon was working out of the bumper spot. Bednar was working specifically himself with the power play unit. So
yeah, you see them deploy that a little bit differently too. Like they're not just tossing and dumping pucks in. Like you're practicing different deployments of getting that power play started too, which I really enjoy. I think as well.
I will enjoy whatever works, to be honest.
But yeah, that's got to be your first step. And especially seeing how a Bednar and a Landeskog talked about, being able to have that quick fix. You think in Carolina that's going to be the thing that kills you in the game. You see in Florida that quite literally is the thing that kills you in a game. It's got to be the difference maker tonight. It has to be special teams. Your power play's got to be your penalty kill has to be perfect, rather. But knowing that those changes can happen on the power play, knowing you can adjust depending, like you get that first one out of the way, it can be ugly. I'll give them that one, but you need to be able to adjust against a team like this.
It's one of those things where the Avs have been so good this year that when they do things to make their life harder than it has to be, it hasn't really mattered a whole lot for a lot of the season because they'll just figure it out and do what they need to do to win. But with a few less bullets in the chamber, maybe you need to stop making those mistakes that make your life difficult.
What kind of kills me too, or at least makes me a little wary heading into this, is how reliant they've become on a Brock Nelson to be the problem solver for that as well. The fact that he has scored
almost exclusively solving their power play by himself,
which I appreciate when it works,
sure,
but when it doesn't,
can't be the only option.
That can't be the only thing you're relying on too. So you need a little more consistency, and that's why I appreciate seeing some of those, specific workings with McKinnon.
Yep.
You're seeing that kind of happen, and generally, when you see a lot of those big changes happen, good things tend to happen in the next 2 games. So I'm hoping that's a good omen. I know some of us are not superstitious here, but I'm hoping that's, good signs of good things to come for, that adjustment needs to happen. You're expecting more out of a guy like McKinnon on the power play.
Sure.
Especially Netchis, who has been a little quiet on the power play. It can't just be Brock Nelson carrying that thing. His back's going to hurt eventually.
He's only a lieutenant. Right?
Yes.
He's not... Cale Makar on that list too, I think. Really,
absolutely.
He had those couple of goals he put in the back of the net, and you're like, finally, and now it's kind of gone back to the quiet version of Cale, where, especially from the blue line out high, not finishing the way you would really like him to.
No, and especially in the neutral zone with that transition. I haven't particularly loved him on the power play. You're expecting more.
Yep, totally fair. Avs are going to need it now, if not, if ever. Now is the time. It's the Avs are fine. Yeah, I think, of course, you want to win every night. Of course, you're trying to win every night. But if the Avs were to drop this game, I don't think anyone would be very concerned.
My heart's not going to be broken. Yeah.
Very much in the let's just get through this road trip, like you mentioned, and get back home, and we can reassess from there.
Yeah.
So,
like, after this, you've got 7 games at home. You've got enough time to sit and recuperate and get the kind of rest that you deserve, even through a condensed schedule. So this is really kind of like a survive this game. Just get through it. If you can fix some of those, like get through some of that adversity and make this look as clean as possible, like again, I will be thrilled. I will be more than pleased if this looks even remotely pretty.
Yeah.
But don't get blown out. Stay healthy. Those are my 2 goals for the game tonight.
I think that's fair, but we're going to bust out the crystal ball anyway, Bailey. Give me a score. Give me a name. What's going to happen in this game?
I'm expecting this to be a gritty one.
Yeah.
As much as I would love a blowout, give me a 3-2.
Okay.
It's the tried and true. And as much as we've been talking about needing a big game out of him, give me Ross Colton against his former team.
I like that. I do like the ex-player curse angle for Ross. That's
Yep.
always a good angle. I'm not going to alter too much from yours, but I'm going to go 3-1.
Okay.
I think we see one of those games where maybe Wedgie lets in a not great one and then locks it down for the rest of the game.
I love it.
And then I'm going with, I guess, Nathan McKinnon. I know that's the total
That's the cop-out
Yeah.
answer.
I know.
No, fair. No, but he needs one.
You're right. If you're
that's
realistically
fair.
trying to win this game,
Nathan McKinnon
pretty
needs
much
to be on
has
the
to
score
be
sheet.
pretty much has to be McKinnon.
Yep.
We
Is
can-
it Madkinnon scoring that goal, or does like normal Nathan McKinnon
Why not one
come
of
up?
each?
One of each? Ooh, I like it. I love it. Okay.
Get into my pregame picks off of that, which of course is presented by Bet365, and things are never ordinary. The boosted parlay for this game for the Avs is Nathan McKinnon to score 2 or more and the Avs to win at plus 1,000.
Okay.
So went with that. Also had the Colton goal on there. That's not Sam Malinsky, but it is Ross Colton. Plus 600. So pretty good money bet on the ex-player curse there. And then I did take a Nature's power play point like we were talking about too. Pretty much everything on here is like this recipe for the Avs to win this game.
No, this is truly a like you need to battle through your adversity to win this kind of game. So
Yep. Someone's going to have to step up. As much as I believe it needs to be the superstars or maybe your goaltender, it could be anyone. No one would complain if it's a Ross Colton hat trick or a Gavin Brindley
give me a
multi-point
Ross
game.
Colton hat trick. Absolutely. That's the right amount of chaos, like the good kind of chaos. Don't give me
Sure.
the bad chaos, but I like that. I love that.
I'm
Cool.
in.
I'll take it.
I'm in. Who does Carolina hate the most?
What do you mean?
Like, neither of the Florida teams really seem like Hurricanes rivals to me.
It's the Rangers.
The Rangers?
It's always
Okay.
been the Rangers. Or the Devils as of recent.
Everyone
So,
hates the Devils. That's fine.
fair. Valid. Or any team that's got Eric Hall on it too. I'll give it that.
Yeah, all right. So there's no like extra bad blood for you with
No.
Tampa or anything.
Nah.
All right.
Nah, we're good.
All right. Well, we'll see what it is. It feels like on Twitter, this is always Tampa's Stanley Cup facing the Avs. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect on this one. I do think it ends up being low scoring just by default, given where we are in the season, given where these two teams are. You're in the meat grinder part of the season right now, and it's not going to let up. So you gotta manage things a little bit. I know puck drop is delayed apparently because John Cooper is playing his 1,000th game as a coach. Not playing, coaching his 1,000th game. If he played, the Avs probably win.
Yeah, honestly, give me I'll take the tired older legs. that would be great.
But that's about it. Any final thoughts, Bailey, before we wrap this pregame up?
Just reiterating the same point. Survive it.
Survive
it. This is about as adverse as it's been for the Avs this season. So if you can get through this in one piece, again, I'll be happy.
There you go. We'll see what the Avs can do. We're going to call this for the pregame show. Come join Micah and Bailey for the watch along. And then Bailey and I will break it all down post-game for you. We got you covered. This has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show, and we'll see you in a few minutes.
We all city like the mayor.